Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, in the absence of Toastmaster Melanie, it's my duty as Vice President for Education to open up the business section of our meeting. There's quite a lot of business to be discussed. First of all, I'd like to mention that our contestant, Scylla, managed to go all the way to the district contest. So area division district 109, and she very proudly represented us. I was so pleased. I was there and it was wonderful to watch. I'm afraid she didn't take any of the third place, first, second, or third, but she was very, very strong and very good. Second thing, we have an annual general meeting on the 14th of June. In this meeting, we will have our club elections and various reports from the current committee's officers will be presented. We need to have a quorum in order to have a vote. What does a quorum entail? It's 50% of the membership plus one. So I strongly recommend you make a note on your calendar right after this meeting, the annual general meeting on the 14th of June. You can also confirm your attendance in EasySpeak. As part of this, there was a club leadership that was put together to canvass people who would potentially be interested in running for positions on the executive committee. That committee consisted of Lily, Alma, Gordana, chaired by Melanie. And it's my pleasure now to present the nominees to the executive committee as of July 2022 till June of 2021. So let me get myself set up.
2023.
Yeah, 23, exactly.
I'm having a few technical problems as usual, but I do not give up easily. So, fellow Toastmasters, do you now see my screen? Yes?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. So I am proud to announce what the Club Leadership Committee is to present to the general membership at our annual general meeting. The candidates for president in alphabetical order are, and I'm having trouble with so many screens open. Just a sec, I have to go out of this. Again, the candidates for president in alphabetical order, and I thought I'd put pictures that you could somehow identify the people in alphabetical order, and I'm not going to even attempt the last names because two of these names I find difficult. So without any further ado, candidates for president: Scylla, Ivana, and Tatiana. Otherwise, these are the people that will be standing for nomination at the annual general meeting. Myself for Vice President Education, Ines for Vice President Membership, Benjamin in a new role as Vice President for Public Relations, Nicole as our Secretary, Brigitte as our Treasurer, Rena as our Sergeant at Arms, and the immediate past president is automatically the current president. So that is the cast of characters for our election in June. Do you have any questions on that? Okay, I think this is enough business for the moment. It's my great pleasure to welcome two guests that I see. If I'm forgetting anybody, I do apologize. It's a pleasure to welcome again to our meeting, Yunyan. Yunyan, would you like to say a few words?
Hello, everyone, fellow Toastmaster members and Vice President. Very nice meeting all of you. And my name is Yan, and looking forward to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I recognize another guest, and it's very obvious she's from UNODC. That's a potential member, Diana. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. Thank you. Today is my second, actually my second day here. And thanks for all for accepting me for this second Toastmaster class for me. I would love to attend this session and see what changes from the other Toastmaster Club class, and see how I can, if I would be interested to join, of course. I'm super interested, and I'm looking forward for this session. Thank you.
Thank you for your positive reaction to our club. You won't regret it. One other person I would like to acknowledge who is a member, but we haven't seen her for quite some time because she's in Switzerland. But thanks to Zoom, we're able to have her for today's meeting. Gabriella, would you like to say a few words?
Hi everyone. Yes, I'm back after almost a year. I actually left Vienna, I think, in almost a year ago, in June 2021. So it took me a few months to settle, but I'm happy to be back, and I hope that I can join the virtual meeting once a month, since I cannot join the meeting at the VIC. But it's nice to see you all again. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to welcome you. I've missed you. You know, Gabriella gave 2 wonderful speeches in Pathways. So I'd like to see you continue, Gabriella. So I think it's time for me to basically yield the floor to our Toastmaster of the day. And that happens to be Toastmaster Tatiana. Tatiana, I invite you to lead us through this Toastmaster meeting.
Thank you very much, Maria Teresa. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, I would like to welcome you into today's meeting of the VIC Toastmasters Club and guide you through the day as much as I can with all the attention each of the items of the program deserves. So today we have a special session where we will have different topics discussed, but only in a table topic format. I'm not sure it's going to be, I'm sure it's not going to be any different from when we have speeches, because then we will have to more time to dedicate to topics and impromptu speeches. But before going into the core of our business, let me introduce the team which we have today here to support the project or the meeting we have in front of us. So I would like to start with the evaluation team and its lead, general evaluator, Toastmaster Ines. Ines, would you be so kind to introduce your team? Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Tatiana. As the general evaluator, I will, as you said, introduce the team, the evaluation team. We do not have speakers, but there will be a lot to be evaluated, I'm sure. As an evaluator, the general evaluator, I will take note of how the meeting proceeded, distractions, but also the successes, of course. And I will also see if I can make some suggestions for improvements. We have a team who can help me, in fact. I would like to start with a timekeeper. That is Toastmaster Alma. Toastmaster Alma, could you please give us an idea what your role is as timekeeper, especially for the guests?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Toastmaster General Evaluator Ines. As already said, my name is Alma, and I will be your timekeeper today. My role is actually to time speeches, which we do not have today, but nevertheless, we have table topics, which I will also time. And it's a 1 minute minimum impromptu speech. Then for after 1 minute, you will get a green, which is blue. In this time, we will have an improvise, but normally for the guests, it should be a green either card, or we have a special lamp that we try to modernize this when we have in-person meetings. So after 1 minute, this is your sign that your minimum time is up. Then after 1 minute and a half is your yellow card, which means you spoke a bit more, but it's still under set time frame. And then your 2 minutes, if you go over 2 minutes, is the red card, which would mean that you went over the scheduled time for the table topics. Just for the guests' information, we have different kind of speeches, and sometimes they are timed. Now, General Evaluator Ines would have to correct me, but sometimes between 6 and 8 minutes, sometimes between 12 and 20 minutes, 16 minutes, depending on the speaker and on the speech and where they are in this what we call easy path or pathways. So, but because we do not have, as I said, speeches today, I will be timing only the table topics and the General Evaluator Ines, and I think General Evaluator Ines would have time between 2 and 3 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Alma.
Thank you.
As we are waiting for the grammarian, I don't see her.
Excuse me, Madam General Evaluator, I have a point of order. You are not to be timed. I heard Alma say you were going to be timed. It's not my recollection that we timed the General Evaluator.
Okay.
Okay, just to clarify.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you very
Maria
much.
Teresa. Thanks. Yeah.
Toastmaster
No
Maria Teresa, can I kindly ask you to take on the role of grammarian? Because
okay.
we have not really seen Natasha from India to join us. Apparently she's delayed somewhere. So that means, could you please give us an idea what your role is or will be as a grammarian? Toastmaster Maria Teresa.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. This is like a pseudo table topic, a little on the spot, but I never say no to a Toastmasters. I always say yes. The role of the grammarian is basically to observe the usage of the English language, where we've done it well and where we haven't done it well, but more importantly, to suggest ways we could improve. As part of the grammarian's role, it also includes assigning a word of the day. And since Ines already, when it was thought she would be a grammarian, had prepared a word, which I happen to like, is gravitas. Gravitas. I'm afraid I'm not prepared to give you a definition, but if you go to EasySpeak and click, you will find a definition there. Much better than anything I could say. The other thing the grammarian does is at the end of the meeting, in the course of the report, awards a grammarian's crowns. This is for the word or expression that the grammarian found noteworthy in the course of the meeting. And with that, I return control to our General Evaluator, Toastmaster Ines.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Maria Teresa, the grammarian. The word gravitas means to give importance to something. And you can also say to give a special weight to something or to consider the seriousness of something. I will put the word gravitas in the chat box later on. I would like now to ask the ballot counter, Adriana, Toastmaster Adriana, to give us an idea what her role should be.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster General Evaluator. Today my role is a ballot counter. That means I will collect your votes for the best table topic speaker. I did want to ask you, how do we do that in Zoom? Because I haven't done it before. But you can answer after I finish. As a ballot counter, I do not vote, but I vote in case of tie. No?
Excuse me, a point of order. You are entitled to a vote, Adriana.
Oh, am I? Okay, because I saw on the Toastmaster whatever scripting that I'm not.
No, you're absolutely fine.
Okay, all right, fine. And so yes, if I may ask, how do we do it online? That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. I will get back to you later on in the chat box.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. And I would like to introduce now Toastmaster Rina who will be the AHA counter. Toastmasterina, could you please give us an idea what your role will be?
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, my role is to count ahs and ums and unnecessary words and report them at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Ines.
Okay. Thank you very much. And with this last message to everybody, I would like to hand over control of the meeting to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Tatiana.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. The team is set and we are ready to start the meeting. And I would like to announce the topic of today's meeting is very dear to my heart. It is climate change. Not as much as I look forward to the climate to be changed, but more of how we work with it, how we see it, and how we preserve the right of future generations of enjoying the same conditions as we do today around the globe. Before we proceed into the actual presentations on the subject, and everybody is now getting ready for speaking about it, I would like to mention that we have an agenda of today's meeting in the chat as well. We're still waiting for a word of the day to be introduced in the chat by the general evaluator, that nobody forgets that this word is going to be used for and during the discussions or presentations. And I would like to ask the topics master of the day, Toastmaster Benjamin, to introduce his part dedicated to impromptu speeches as a table topics master. Thank you, Benjamin. The floor is yours.
Toastmaster of the day, Madam Toastmaster of the day, thank you very much for introducing the topic of the day for this topic master session. And it's also a subject very close to my heart, that is climate change. I'm involved in this NGO since 3 or 4 years, dedicating at raising awareness about climate change, in which I have organized a lot of workshops and met a lot of people and discussed a lot about climate change. So I would like simply today to ask some of the questions I have asked to the participant of the workshop we're implementing with my NGO. Without further introduction, I'd like to ask the first question to Gabriela, if you're okay with it. What is your general feeling with climate change? Are you concerned about climate change? What is your general feeling about climate change? Are you concerned about climate change? Gabriela, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ben. My personal opinion or my sense about the topic is I do believe the climate change is real. What I find surprising to this day is that there are still people out there who doubt that climate change is real. And that I find very shocking, because we can all see that every day, every year, we have more severe storms. The weather is really becoming more extreme and extreme. So for me, it's difficult to understand why people do not believe on climate change. Why are we not doing enough? I find it surprising that in many governments, many countries, there's still a lot of influence from all companies who basically have such an influence that the policies that we should implement are not being implemented. And the truth is that I think we're running out of time. We have already passed the point of no return. So the question what we should be asking ourselves is, well, if we don't change this, the whole humanity is gonna, if we don't do something, the risk that the humanity will disappear is very real. So I'm also very interested in the topic, and I appreciate the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gabriela. I do share your view that there are still people out there not believing in climate change. That is a bit shocking. I was in COP26 in Glasgow last year, and we met not really climate deniers, but finally we met a lot of climate delayers, in the sense that people are now aware of it, but now we need to take actions to tackle it. Another species. I think you've raised the topic of the next question that I would like to ask to Julia, if you're with us. Oh, yeah, I see her. The question is, does climate change have an impact on your life, your daily life? Does climate change have an impact on your life? Julia, the floor is yours.
Climate change has impact not only on my life, but on all people's life. And I also been on COP26, and I think I found it quite depressive, actually. And today I went on the conference about Mars. And it was actually after COP26, I was thinking maybe we need already another planet. Can we stop this climate change? But most of the people talking about what we can change, how to reduce degree growth and temperature, but what we invest personally. Are we ready to change our account bike? Are we ready to move to the job what's next to our house and reduce the spending of the fossil fuels? Are we ready to use, for example, more warm clothes during the winter and not to switch on the heating system? What we are ready to do? Are we ready to teach our children to think about the nature, about the climate? This is the most important point. We are now delaying, and this is was by previous talk it was highlighted, but we still have our generation what we can impact. And this impact, it's only coming from our example. Are we ready to be vegetarians? What we are ready to do with us to reduce the temperature growth and to think about the nature? I think it's all.
Thank you very much for sharing your view on climate change. The next question that I would like to ask, more oriented towards the solution, or hopefully oriented to the solutions, would be to Brigitte, if you're with us. Are you optimistic in our ability to tackle climate change? Are you optimistic in our ability to tackle climate change? Brigitte, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Topics Master. Yeah, I'm unmuted. I think you should hear me. I would say in general, I'm a quite optimistic person. And in relation to climate change, I start having my doubts because I mean, I hope everybody would start thinking and believing that it's real and that something has to be done. Otherwise, we will not survive. But the big thing is, how can we really convince the rest of the population that, let's say, those who believe already that climate change is going on, that they really start being active and start to change something in their lives. But there's also, I think, still a big portion of within the population who still do not believe that we have climate change going on. Yeah, they see that the weather is changing and that the snow is melting earlier than we expected, and the ice. But I think they still did not reach this point that they really think we have to become active, and we should have done this already yesterday and not only today. And if we still wait for some years, then it might be too late. So, but still, as I said, I try to be optimistic, and I hope that we can manage it. And it's also not each one of us. It's the industry, it's the governments around the world. There are so many factors, and I think we all have to pull together on the one rope. So yeah, that is what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brigitte. Yeah, I'm also quite optimistic in general, but I have my doubts sometimes when talking about climate change. I think a good word would be being realistic when the policymakers are talking about plus 1.5 degrees goal. Let's be aware that we're already at plus 1.3 degrees since pre-industrial times. So we need to be optimistic and realistic with the situation we are facing now. This next question I would like to ask to Lily, if you're still with us. And I think Julia raised a bit of that point. This is something that is happening quite a lot actually in my family when we talk about climate change. It's a bit of a divisive topic in the sense that we usually on one side of the table, there are my parents and my grandma, and on the other side, my sisters and I were talking about climate change, and we do have completely different approaches to climate change. So the question would be to you, Lily, do you think climate change is a divisive topic between generation? Do you think climate change is a divisive topic between generations?
I think you can hear me.
It's a bit jumping around, but yeah.
Yeah, so I think it would be better to
ask someone else, maybe. No? Lily, I think we've lost you. Ivona, are you willing to take up on this question? I can repeat it if you want. Do you think climate change is a divisive topic between generation? And I gave the example of my family where we all have different opinions between my parents and my grandma and my sisters and I.
I believe like with any other topic, it can be divisive, it can be connecting. It doesn't matter what people are sitting at the table. It can be divisive not only between generations, it can be divisive between different believers, I would say. Some believe, you know, we need to rescue environment. Some believe it is a natural process, what we are observing. And everybody has a right to own opinion, theoretically, apart from that we see more and more disasters and events happening around the world, more sicknesses, more viruses, and different variations of pandemic. So I think the problem is getting more obvious and clearer to everybody. And I don't think there are opposers, real opposers to the strategy. You know, we need to do something for the climate. There might be people who don't know exactly what to do or what individuals can do, what small actions are expected from each single person. And here we need to talk more about education. And I also believe that instead of heated discussion, if you meet a person who is unsecure or says, okay, I don't know, you can use arguments to teach the person or tell the person what you do in your life and what the person can maybe copy in their lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ivona. Very interesting talk and point about education that has been raised, I think, already by Julia. This is actually all what we're doing in my NGO called Climate Fresh. We're trying to fill the gap of knowledge that is out there between what the people know and what the people believe and what is the reality. And for those who were here I think it was last week, Antonio Guterres came for a town hall and he gave a speech to us talking about climate change. And I don't know if you followed, but there was an intern who took the mic and asked a question about the meat consumption in the cafeteria here. And the Director General of UNODC replied to her that she was not aware that meat consumption has an impact on climate change. So that kind of knowledge gap is really important in our society now, and we should fill it up by education. I completely share this point with you, Ivona. Next question, and I think we've talked a bit already about it, would be about COP. Maybe one of our guests would be happy to take up on this question. Lou, would you be happy to take up on this question? If you're still with us. Okay, maybe I'll go to someone else. Julia? Sorry, I already asked you. Ines, would you be happy to jump in for this question?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ben. Can you please repeat that?
Sure. I didn't ask it yet. So it would be a general feeling about your general feeling about COP, the conference of parties that is happening every year. What is your opinion on it? Do you believe it's something that could get us somewhere, or it's just high-level people talking and shaking hands for 2 weeks every year? So what is your opinion on COPs?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster. Ben, as a topics master, great question. I feel that we really need to mobilize all sectors of society, whether you are the educational sector, education has been mentioned, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a father, a mother, whether you are a director, doesn't matter. The climate change issue has to do with our value system. And the value system is something which I feel should be changed. We cannot really go, for example, to the Naschmarkt on Saturday, and I'm buying some fruits and vegetables, and I'm getting a plastic bag. And the lady said to me, okay, we do not have paper bags. Yes, but why not? Oh, because we have so many plastic bags still in store, and we are not going to throw them away. Nobody's asking them to throw it away. However, small issues like use of plastic, use of the energy we're having, because the climate change and energy issues are very closely linked to the climate change issue, the issue of how do we deal with things like letting really lights on. I mean, it should come from somewhere. It is very much interconnected. And I feel we really are in for a new culture, a new lifestyle, and certainly also an awareness which we have to implant, you know, in small kids in the kindergarten to the 80-year or the 90-year-old grandfather or mother who has also his or her opinion. And bravo, I think we're heading in the right direction with COP21 or COP22. And with that, I would like to give the floor back to Toastmaster Ben. Sorry, I did not see the timekeeper.
Well,
but
we'll know a bit later.
This is exactly, yeah, this is exactly what I was, but I had my, sorry, Ben, I just wanted to ask, I had my hands raised, but no one noticed also that. I actually wanted to, maybe it's better for timekeeper to be pinned to the, I mean, I can pin myself, because for me, I'm first in the list Yeah, exactly. Thank you. But I don't think that speakers see me. So that's because I already have like almost 3 people who went over time, but I am showing the papers. So, okay. Now I'm pinned, I think, so it should be easier for others in case you have other people.
Thank you very much, Alma, for this suggestion. And thank you very much, Inez, for your intervention. I do share your opinion on the need for changing the value system. And one of the example I have in my head is that it's as cool as going to Thailand to go in Schneeberg for a hike, then go on the other side of the world with a plane taking a picture. And I think in my generation, we're all traveling all around the world, taking the same picture all around the world. Well, just next to us in Austria, we could take the train and go to Schneeberg. It's as beautiful sometimes. Last question that I would like to ask to Adriana, if you're okay with that. Is your country involved, or is your country taking action to fight climate change? Is your country involved in the fight against climate change?
Thank you, Ben. Toastmaster Ben, I shall say. It's a very good question. I think to begin with, I don't really feel that Polish. I'm Polish, but I haven't lived in my country for a very long time. I've lived in England and now I'm here in Austria. But I can talk a little bit about what I feel about how Poland is doing. I think there is a lot of misconceptions and there is a lot of uncertainty about the gravitas of climate change. I believe a lot of people don't really know what's going on. The information and the news is not necessarily always available for everything, for everyone. The amount of coal mines that are still there in Poland is quite large, and a lot of people's lives depend on that, and therefore it's a difficult topic for politicians. Not that I would stand on their side, but it is quite a difficult problem. On the other hand, I have seen that there is some progress towards nuclear in Poland. I know that there is some plans to develop a plant or few plants, I'm not sure. I think this is a very good move, and I believe that it could help with the move from coal to nuclear. I feel, as a lot of you already said today, the education is key. I think even within people who are well educated, we have misconceptions. And to be able to have one message that hits us all and hits every individual is a challenge. Thank you very much. And I'm giving the floor back to Toastmaster Ben. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adriana. And yes, you're right. The EU taxonomy that happened in January, actually, Poland was pushing a lot to get this nuclear technology into the Green Deal so that you can build reactors. With this, I think I would like to conclude on this part. I would like to thank you everyone for your interesting thoughts about climate change. I think it's quite interesting to see that whichever question I was asking, everybody was bringing their biggest belief about climate change. So for example, I didn't ask a question about education, but it came back quite a lot. So I think in the end, we all have climate change quite close to our heart, and I was very happy to talk about it with you, and maybe we'll do another session in the future. Thank you very much. And with this, I give back the control of the session to Toastmaster of the Day, Tatiana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Topics Master of the Day, Toastmaster Ben. It was an inspiring session. I do agree we have to discuss it more often. I would still appreciate if you can please summarize the questions and give the names of speakers so that everybody would be ready for a voting session for the best table topic speaker we have to have immediately after this session. Thank you.
So the first question was about the feeling when facing climate change. Are you concerned about climate change? And the question was given to Gabriela. The second question was, does climate change have an impact on your life, on your personal life? And it was given to Julia. The third question was, are you optimistic in our ability to tackle climate change? And it was Brigitte. Then we had the question about the divisive topic of climate change between generations. Do you think climate change is a divisive topic between generations? And it has been given to Ines. And the last two questions, sorry. What is your opinion on COPs? I think I'm mixing a bit the generation
You mixed
question. Yeah,
Ivona.
was given to Ivona. Thank you very much. What is your opinion on COPs was given to Ines. And the last question, is your country involved in fighting climate change, was given to Adriana. Is that okay? Toastmaster of the day, Tatiana.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ben. It is exactly what we needed to hear, because we are so much immersed into the substance and not really maybe paying attention to who said what. So now we have a minute for voting. As it was already discussed in chat, the votes should be sent directly to Lily, and Lily then will communicate those to the ballot counter, or she would say who is the winner on her own. Unfortunately, the Zoom has some limits, and in this particular case, we have to live with it. So the time is passing. Everybody, please complete your voting. And this would be the concluding part of the core of the meeting, speaking on the topic, unprepared speeches. And we would need to proceed to another part of our meeting, which is evaluation. While I speak, I think now the time for voting is over, and I would like to...
Exactly. A minute is up now. Yeah.
I would like to thank you very much, Toastmaster Timekeeper. And with this, I would like to return control of the meeting to Ines, our General Evaluator of the day. Ines, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tatiana. So we have the evaluation session, which is helping us to dive deep in how the meeting proceeded. And I would like to start with the grammarian, Toastmaster Maria Teresa, for her report. Toastmaster Maria Teresa.
Thank
Are
you
you
very
there?
much, Madam. Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, you're very good. I'll be honest, I was asked to do this at short notice, but still I had my ears like this, and I didn't pick up on very much. But there are a few comments I would like to make, with the caveat that if it's your second language, it's not that easy. I belong to a Toastmaster club in Slovakia where our working language is German. You should see me stutter through that. But here is what I have noted. I believe it was Gabriella who talked about all people's lives. I think it would have been better to say everyone's life. Julia, you talked about reducing the temperature growth. I think you were just talking about maybe lowering the temperatures. Ivana, I know you referred to opposers, but I think it would have been better to say opponents. You also referred to somebody being unsecure, but I think it more appropriately would have been insecure. And Adriana, you were the best because you were talking about the coal mines and you said coal mines is, and you immediately corrected yourself to coal mines are. So you did that brilliantly. I note that Adriana was the only person to use the word gravitas. Maybe it's not something in our repertoire, but for today's grammarian's crown, I would like to award it to Ines for her choice of gravitas. It has a certain clout. Maybe we will incorporate it into our vocabulary. And with that, I conclude my report and return control to Ines, the General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Maria Teresa, who was the grammarian. Thank you. And I would like to ask now the timekeeper, Alma, to give her report. The floor is yours, Toastmaster Alma.
Thank you, Toastmaster General Evaluator. Despite of these few difficulties, technical issues that some of the speakers didn't see me with the cards, I think in general it was a good timing. So individual times would be as following. Gabriela, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Julia, 1 minute 35 seconds. Brigitte, a bit over time, but most probably due to not being able to see my cards. So 2 minutes 33 seconds. Ivona, 1 minute 59 seconds, just in time. And Ines, a bit over time as well, 2 minutes 25 seconds, because of the inability to see my cards. And then Adriana, 1 minute 55 seconds. With this, I conclude my report. I return back the floor to Madam General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Alma, also for taking the role, actually on a very short notice. Thank you very much. Toastmaster Rina, can I please, or can we please hear from you what your report is on the ahas you found?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I was very closely listening to the speeches, and for Tatiana, I counted 2, Ines 4, Alma 3, Benjamin 6, Gabriela 4, Julia 2. Brigitte, you take the crown of the ahs and ums. It is almost 15 times. Mostly you put that, and then you had a break. That yeah, something like that. And Ivona 4, oh, that's all what I heard. Okay, that ends my report.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rina. We have the ballot counter, but we would leave that for the reporting at the end of the meeting, as we normally, up to now, we have done it this way. I would like to give a short evaluation on the meeting. As we said, the word of the day, gravitas, is a word which you are hearing in the media relatively often. And that's why I decided also that it could be a very good exercise for all of us to use it. It is giving importance to things. And as Adriana has used it in a very nice way, thank you, Adriana, for applying it. I myself forgot totally about it. That's how you see, how things really work. Sorry. When I, as an evaluator, like to hear what the table topics are, it's a very good exercise to do 2 things, to be actually multitasking. You're listening because you have a role and you have to report on certain issues, and at the same time, you have to hear what the table topics master is presenting. And that's not very easy, but I think we're doing quite well. Chapeau. And I like the way also the table topics master presented his topics. It's a very crucial, especially at this time. And I also like the way how he worked with the technical distractions he had. For example, Toastmaster Lily had some technical issues and he did not lose a lot of time. He went immediately to somebody else to take on the question. And that was very well, smoothly done. As to the issue of being in the meeting, but not being on camera, of course, we have a problem And that is when you are being given an assignment or a question, you're not there. And we had this with one of our guests, Yu Liu. And I hope that we will, I don't know whether she is still there, but we would like to hear from her what had happened. Maybe she had also had some technical problems. Looking at technical issues, we have a full online meeting. This is not a hybrid meeting. And actually, we should be able to clear the technical issues. Keep the troubles away, I would say, from the screen. Maria Teresa, you had some technical issues. Very often it is, you know, we are with you, and we were waiting. Sometimes it's good not to really focus too much on the technical problems, but gives us also during the meeting time to think about what the issues are we would like to put forward in the meeting. As to the clapping culture we have in the meeting, it is not because it looks very fancy to clap for somebody. It is very much a culture of supporting each other. Of course, when you are in a person-to-person meeting, it's easier, but I would like to really suggest, try to support and give the encouragement to other speakers. And when it comes to the timing, we started rather late. For several reasons, we were waiting for people to log on or to get into the meeting. It would be good to start more or less on time. So I think this is my report as a general evaluator. Thank you very much. Toastmaster of the Day, I found you're doing a wonderful job, and I'm handing control of the meeting back to you. Toastmaster Tatiana.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. You had a very thorough thinking about our organizational and other issues we have during our meetings, and I think it was an excellent reflection on what we are doing right and where we should still introduce some changes. So we had a very concrete evaluation procedure where we looked at time, at some speech deficiencies, we looked at grammar, we had somebody count. At the same time, we also got a feeling that this meeting was completed and we went through the procedure as it is appropriate for the meeting of Toastmasters. I'm not sure we should speak about the voting at this point, or we would rather leave it for the presiding officer to complete the voting. What would be the suggestion? And if that is the case, then I would resume give the back control of the meeting to Maria Teresa. Maria Teresa, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tatiana. You did a wonderful job. And we're going to finish on time for a change. And I liked even somebody applause. You know, it is the positive feedback you give with the applause. But enough of that. I think it's time to ask Lily to announce the results of the table topics. Who won the best table topic speech?
Adriana has the vote.
Hey, bravo, Adriana.
Yeah, but she's also the ballot counter.
I was about to announce it, and I was kind of dreading announcing the fact that I won because it feels rather corrupted. I was the ballot counter.
All right, we're above boards in this club. We take everything with gravitas, So I'd like to remind you, everybody, please, please put on your calendar the 14th of June for our annual general meeting. We have to have a quorum in order to have an election. So please, that's very important. But another important thing is to ask our guests their impression of the meeting. And she's not really a guest, she's a full-fledged member. But Gabriella, we haven't seen you in such a long time. Would you like to make a few remarks about how you found our meeting today?
Of course. Thank you very much for the opportunity to give to give some words. I realized that I missed the meetings. It's been a while since I've been on a Toastmaster meeting, but it's so nice to be back. Of course, the meeting was a little bit different because we didn't have the prepared speeches, but I think the topic of the day was very, very interesting, and everybody had something to say. So I just have to say that I'm very happy to be back on the club, and I hope I can attend the virtual meeting every month. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your positive reaction. We hope to see you more often. So our other guest was Diana. Diana, what did you think of us today?
Thank you, dear fellow Toastmaster. I really, really welcome the topic of the day and the discussion about climate change and all the steps that will be required. Our opinion to continue working and raising awareness about this topic is really close to my heart. So I'm really welcoming the topic, and I find this is really interesting. And I'm really looking forward to join the next sessions, even though I will be on and off for missions in June. I'm really looking forward to the next sessions. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And if we have Yun Yan, are you still here with us, Yun Yan? How did you like today's meeting?
Yeah. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. I really appreciate today's session. This is my second session in the Toastmaster Club, and I found this experience joining the session very rewarding. The topic today, the climate change, is also endearing to my heart. And after seeing all the fellow Toastmasters' speech, I found that not only this question itself is technical, but also in talking about this topic, in the process, we can improve our speaking, and also we can learn how to articulate ourselves and in the best delivery. So yeah, I'm also thank you all. I would really like to thank you, and really looking forward to the next session. Hope I can be a member. Thank you.
Thank you. You don't have to hope, you can be a member. If you are interested,
there's no exam.
I suggest you contact Toastmaster Ines, who is our membership vice president. Adriana, was that a point of order? No. Fellow Toastmasters, I didn't think it was going to happen, but it happens. Ben, your topics were incredible. Recycle, reuse, we all can do our part. And with that, I adjourn this Toastmaster meeting. I wish you well, stay safe, stay well, and happy public speaking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lily, thank you for your efforts as Zoom master.
I'll stop the recording.